Hello and good evening, everybody. Some dumb guy here once again, and doing yet another video haul. 3 in one night. It's been an expensive month, but it is now Criterion time. Yeah, Criterion recently had their twice annual Barnes & Noble sale, and I decided to partake. And much like my most recent Amazon Prime Day sale that you guys, all three of you, might have watched, I had a bit of an experience with this one as well. And let's just suffice to say, I will probably never use Barnes & Noble's website again to do absolutely anything with. Yesterday, my box arrives, and I got my newest Criterion Collection purchase here. So I have 5 titles on my ultimate purchase after everything was not everything I was originally planning on. I think I ended up getting an extra title or 2 extra titles after I removed Pat Garrett, not an option anymore. I decided to add 1 to substitute, then I decided to throw on 1 more. Out of those 5, 4 of those are blind buys, which not something I'm prone to do for Criterion, just strictly based on the price. I don't like to throw that kind of money into the wind. First one I'd actually never even heard of, but came recommended, heard about the story a little bit, read a little synopsis on it on the website, starring Jimmy Stewart, and of course that's always a win. A little confidence, and it sounded like different kind of story than I'm accustomed to watching his. It's a 1959 title, black and white, as gosh, probably most of his movies actually are. This is a Blu-ray of Anatomy of a Murder. A little bit of a thriller, I understand, which I would not really expect of him. So I think I recently, on the last Kino sale, picked up a Western of his, which I've never seen a Western of his. So, I've seen It's a Wonderful Life, obviously, Harvey, Flight of the Phoenix, which I own all 3 of these. But yeah, so I get that Western, and then this one here. So expanding the Jimmy Stewart territory, which I like doing. And speaking of territory exploration, I have been on something of a Hitchcock kick lately. I've been fortunate to catch a couple of his films in the theater recently on re-releases, and been really enjoying what I watched. I have the 3 Alfred Hitchcock Universal sets on 4K that Universal has put out. Got to pick those up recently, so I'm developing a nice collection of Hitchcock films. This one I don't think I'd actually ever heard of until on the Criterion site. I just punched in Alfred Hitchcock and see what they had. I think there was 2 or 3 titles that popped up that they've done, and I got 2 of those this time around. First one starring Laurence Olivier and Joan Fonte, called Rebecca. Who is Rebecca? I do not know. To be determined. Second title I have heard of, I know nothing about. Again, don't really care. We shall find out. 1946. What was the first one? Rebecca was 1940. Okay. See, 1946, starring Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. Notorious, also Blu-ray. I like this cover. It's provocative. So, looking forward to those. This one here, I've heard of many a time, from 1938, another Blu-ray. Highly regarded classic, and never seen it, so looking forward to checking it out. Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, Bringing Up Baby. Understand it's a Really good. Whoa, come back, baby. Really good comedy. That's a little bit loose in there. I'm going to be careful. Really looking forward to checking this one out. You know, something else I said in 2 of my other videos about cases. Criterion's feels a little on the thicker side. These feel like more like DVD versus 4K and Blu-ray thickness, even though they are Blu-rays and 4Ks. I wonder why they do that. Yeah, 1938, black and white. Yay! Think about it off the top of my head, I don't think I own a single Katharine Hepburn movie. That's very interesting. I'll have to look into that and check my collection and see if that's actually the case. So last but not least, from 1954, the only movie in this purchase that I have actually seen, but it's been many years, so I'm looking forward to revisiting it. And everybody that watches movie at least knows this title. Seven Samurai. I remember this being really engaging. Great movie. Of course, the day after I made my purchase, BFI announced a 4K release pending out of England on this one. So I don't know if I regret buying this or if I should have waited, because as the ball's rolling, it's very possible that Criterion might actually end up putting out their own Blu-ray here in the next year or so. I wouldn't rule that out as a possibility. Not too fond of the packaging. As much as I don't really care too much for the thicker cases, I would still rather have a standard style case than any form whatsoever of digibook or digipack, anything cardboardy or papery. I don't like them. I just don't. They're even thicker than anything else that they need to be, which always bothers me. It's something I'm going to rant about every time it comes up, because I like space-saving packaging across the board. These are just, I think they're overly elaborate, overly complicated, easily damaged, and yeah, just not really feeling them, and they look really awkward. You know, the way I like to lay out, particularly my Criterion collection, is I like to lay them out in, oh, you can't see this because of the spline, the plastic there, but you know, they're all numbered. Seven Samurai is number 2. I like to, instead of doing alphabetical, I like to lay these guys out numerically, but because of this case, they don't flow well for me. So what I end up doing is all the plastic cases numerically, and then all the digipack, digibook, whatever you want to call them, go off in their own little corner. We all have our little odds and ticks and such when it comes to our collecting and how we decide to display and set up our movies, don't we? I'm full of those. I'm sure I'll be making lots of videos and covering all that in the future. So yeah, that's it for Criterion. I've got the Amazon and the Kino all sitting right here, waiting for me to catalog in my collection on Blu-ray.com, which anybody can find me there. I'm also SumDumBuy. I'm SumDumBuy everywhere I go. I just can't get away from some things. So yeah, those are all sitting there, so I can start adding those to my my inventory and shelved and ready to go. So anyway, that's that. Once again, thank you everybody for joining me on this little journey. Join me again for my next video. I've got a package up there from another vendor, little mystery teas. I'm waiting for a second to come in from them before I do those all together. So please join me for that one if you're having the free time. Once again, SumDumb time, SumDumb channel, and I am SumDumb Guy. Wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night.